What's up?
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Going good. How are you?
Good.
Looking good. You've been in a time capsule, just ain't aged one bit.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best out here. I'm not living a vegan lifestyle, but I'm living right. Let's say I'm living right a little bit.
Plant-based right now.
It comes from plants. It's from the earth.
Good to
So,
see you.
same here. Same here. It's been a minute. I can always count on you for um, quality conversation.
Okay.
Some
You know,
cool sound bites and all that shit. So, um, I wanted to catch up, and this is, I guess, people get to see us catch up. It's
I
really
know.
what
It's
what
been
they get
like
to see.
a long time.
Yes, yes. So I am going to start, and we're just gonna go wherever we're led.
Okay. Just FYI, I'm
Yeah,
outside on my balcony and the dogs have been just communicating back here. So I might have to step in for a second. But anyways, yeah, just in
yeah.
case you hear a bunch of barking.
It's all
Neighborhood
good.
dogs is turned up.
It's all good. It's all good. So let's start with Callie.
Okay.
Um, I I do my research on everybody, even if I feel like I already kind of have some knowledge. So I wanted to kind of get from your perspective what a young India was like growing up in the LA area. Like, was it all beaches and fun? I know you have a background that is rooted in church, like other artists. I would love to hear about that and whatever else you'd like to tell me about the young seedling India.
Yeah, it was church beach trips. No. But there were a lot of those. But I mean, I didn't grow up in LA. Like I grew up a little on the outskirts in a city called West Covina. My dad's side has been in Inglewood forever. So I was in Inglewood like on the weekends. But I grew up in West Covina, like kind of a suburban lifestyle, Pentecostal church. My mom was the praise and worship leader at the church. I was very involved in all things church. But then, on the weekends, I was turned up with my Trinidadian side of my family. So it was just like extremely opposite. Um, like barbecue, cards going, loud soca music,
Yes.
all the food and just like, yeah, the craziness. So it was a good balance. And then, it's funny because the city that my mom ended up moving us to in Atlanta was like Sandy Springs, Sandy Springs, very similar to the neighborhood that I grew up in here, West Covina.
Nice.
So just to
Nice.
give you some
Yeah.
mental context.
I love it. I love it. Well, let me ask you this. When you were coming up in West Covina, did writing and singing go hand in hand for you? Or how soon did the songwriting come into play as you were like jumping into singing?
I was not songwriting at all out here. I was mainly just singing in church.
Okay.
Um, and I don't even, I think it's funny because I can recall like memories of like telling like the cafeteria lady, I'm gonna be on the Grammy someday. But like, I don't even know why I was saying that because I had never been in the studio. I'd never, like it wasn't really a possibility until I moved to Atlanta. But, yeah, I've gone totally off track. What was the original question?
Well, when did songwriting come into play
When
for
did
you?
songwriting come? Yes, I wasn't writing. I was just singing in church. Um, and songwriting didn't come into play until I moved to ATL. Yeah.
So what your influence, not from a singing capacity, but let's go beyond singing because I've read some of your influences or whatever, and I don't get all head over. I don't necessarily jump into that.
Yeah.
But I would like to know from an influence outside of what we would expect or what we may read. What are some influences that we wouldn't necessarily know just right offhand? You know what I'm saying?
Just like some random influences?
Yeah, some additional influence. Like people don't know that I'm influenced by Radiohead unless I would say
right.
that Radiohead's an influence.
I knew that. No. I think we connected on that. Like,
yeah, we did.
But you know, I think the people that I always fail to say that I'm like, I need to include India Ari. You know, like I feel like just the neo soul movement.
Yeah. Stay with us, guys. There might have been a call. We're just trying to see what's going on. India, you there? You there? You there? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She's coming back, y'all. Y'all got to deal with me and my shirt for a second. At the Copacabana. Da, 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 da. Ah, man, technical issues happen, y'all. You got to just be able to go with the flow. Thank you. Thank you. This is, I don't know. This is, you know, tree inspired, let's say. And Copacabana inspired. I did it my way. How you like that? Oh man. We're going what's up, Keto? Indy will be back in a second. I kind of want to start over. Happy Tuesday. Let's see what happens with India. Hopefully she comes back soon. Let's see. Oh, yay! Not yet.
I'm so sorry. So it's so hot out here that my phone overheated and my phone just totally was like.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's all good. I was doing my Copacabana routine. It's perfect timing for that. At the
I swear I put it on Do Not Disturb. Like, I swear. It was just
no, it's so good. I was like,
shut it down. That's how hot it is in Cali right now. I'm sure it's just as hot in ATL, right?
Sweltering.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all good. What was I asking you about? Oh yeah.
Influences.
Your non.
Yeah,
the ones you don't mention a lot.
I don't mention India, and she was such a huge influence for me, and still is. I mean, I still listen to her like at least once a week. I always fail to give Tamia her props, but just, I mean, she embodies everything that, you know, I want to be. Tamia, Claudette Ortiz is another, just like so gorgeous and talented, and you know, she's rarely mentioned. Outside of that, you know, I love my alternative music. Chris Martin is one of my favorite songwriters. John Mayer is a person I would not typically say in an interview, maybe because that's just kind of random. But you know, John is like one of my all-time favorite songwriters. So yeah, those are you, little list.
Yes. Okay. So, I met you during your Atlanta years, let's say, and I don't know how many stints, but let's just say during your Atlanta years. All right. And I know that you moved to Atlanta during a pivotal point in your life, or, you know, like in your teen years, I consider that a pivotal point, you know, especially if you're moving while you're still in school, you know what I mean? So I wanted to ask you though, because, you know, every city has got its own scene, you know, it's got its own underground scene. It's also got its own like industry, you know, scene as well. So I wanted to know, because you've been in both You've existed in both, and you've navigated in both. What was your Atlanta experience was like overall? And then if you could A and B, the LA experience and the Atlanta experience, what things would you say you've learned from both?
Got you. Well, the really cool thing I realized about my ATL experience was that I was in, and still when I go back, like I'm in so many different circles. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's so much so that I expect all the people that I know to know each other, and they're
Yeah,
like, no, I never met so and so. But yeah, it was like definitely like the musician crowd, like you and like Anthony and Algebra, and just like, and you know, all the people that came up who were really like playing gigs, y'all playing instruments, and just like that crowd. And then kind of like the indie scene, like that Edgewood hipster scene. You know what I mean? I mean, just then the industry, you know what I mean? Like
right.
so many different circles. And it was cool that I was able to kind of like dip in and out of certain crowds. Um, you know, I feel like I did so much of growing up, like so much of my adult life was in ATL. So I can't really say what circle I was really hanging out in here. I mean, I guess now it's more, I wouldn't even say industry. It's just friends and family. I'm a little bit. I'm more far removed. It's funny because I have a deal now, obviously, but like I'm more far removed from. I'm further removed from the industry than I was probably then. You know,
Got you.
which is interesting, but yeah.
Interesting. This is a random question. Would you say you're free spirited?
You know it. You know I am. Come on.
Okay, okay. Part two of that question then is give me some pros and cons of being free spirited.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the pros are just the fun, all the fun that you have, the freedom. And I think the cons are the ways that you affect others, maybe who don't kind of exist in the same way that you do. And so, one thing that I'm really just getting a better grasp on is this concept of boundaries. You know what I mean? And like um, what it means to have them for myself and to also respect others. And I think as a free spirit, you're just so floaty and just doing whatever. And you know, and it's like really important to respect people's boundaries and your own.
Do you think are there any what's a common misconception about India, maybe personality wise? Are there any?
I've heard, you know what? Someone said I was stoic, which I thought was so weird. It's like such a I thought that was such a strange way to describe me because I'm always laughing and laughing at myself and just being crazy and silly. And I just would never describe myself as stoic. But I don't know if that's like a common misconception. That's one thing that I've heard.
Yeah.
Um, but something that I came on live last time and actually somebody asked me the same question. And I would just say that, you know, the assumption that maybe I have it all together or that my life is perfect and I'm just maybe swimming in money and like niggas and my DMs are popping.
They are gonna be now, guys.
It's so funny when I was on tour earlier this year, like a part of my little show was like saying how I was single and any single people in the audience. And oh my gosh, after the shows, it would be like just a bombardment of like people, all types of people, just like I'll date you, I like you. I think I'm like, oh my god,
I
gotta stop
mean,
putting that out there. But
yeah. Um, let's talk music for a second.
okay,
So I remember when your Origin project came out. I love that. I love that body of work. Such
thank
a
you.
so pure,
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh,
so
yeah.
pure. I love that about it. Like I was just swimming in fields all weekend, just like, damn man, what a freaking good project.
Thank you.
Yes. I wanted to ask you to describe the creation of it and where you were in your
Mm.
artistic journey during that
Wow.
project.
I was in a very pure place because I had just left LA. I was in LA writing for others. I did my publishing deal with Polo, and I was like just very unhappy and not feeling fulfilled, and not um, not being successful in the way that I define success, which is happiness, you know. And just I wasn't proud of what I was making, and anyway, so I just like left. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to my mama's house. I don't care if I gotta ride the MARTA again. I just don't want to feel this way, and I want to create from a pure place, and that was really the intention of it. And my then boyfriend, John, who like is an incredible musician. He had never produced anything in his life, and he produced that entire
Wow.
album. And so I think it was just really a labor of love and wanting to put something out just for myself. I'm like, I don't care if nobody hears this. I want to just be able to say that I did this for myself, and I want to be proud of a body of work, or just proud of some music that I made, you know, that I was a part of. So I am still to this day. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you should be. Very great.
thank
Um, Shout out to everybody joining in. I saw Cayman Kelly tuning in. I saw D-Mile tuning
you.
as
Yeah.
well. So I just saying, what's up to everybody? Me and India talking, catching up. It's been a minute. Um, and I want to ask you something off the beaten path. When people say, because people have said this to me before, I don't know. I'm just taking a stab in the dark. I want to know what you think about this statement.
Okay.
Oh my God, they're so talented. We just don't know what to do with them. What does
Mm.
that mean in layman's terms for people who may be out there? You know, I know what it means. I think you know what it means. We can get into details about it, but when people are out there and there's an artist that goes into a room that plays or does a showcase for someone and somebody's like, oh my God, they're
Have you
amazing.
heard that often, Cameron?
I've heard it a few times. That's for damn sure. But I want to know what that means.
I think that it could mean that you are so expansive, and it's to be put in a box. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like you can do everything. Your sound, like, it's such a range of sounds. Like, will it be R&B, or will it be folky, or will it be rock? Because like it could be such a range of things. I guess that it's like maybe that person just doesn't have a vision. You know what I mean? Because it's too big to box. But you know, I haven't really
Yeah,
heard that often. I haven't heard
that's
that.
so good.
I used to hear, she's not a star. She just doesn't have.
Really?
Yeah, I used to hear that, which is crazy. Like, I would walk into labels or take meetings, and they'd be like, she just doesn't have the it thing.
Listen.
Which, I mean, just imagine hearing that at like 19, 20 years old, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
having to work
So
with all
so
that.
much, so much of what I see when I talk to people who I've known, especially circling back around, is just this spirit of endurance,
Mm-hmm.
undying will. And it's like so many people get cut off at the knees just because they don't just continue. So
I mean, you know,
stay. Mm,
I totally agree. And I feel like, just looking at my journey, I feel like I've been trudging on my elbows and knees for years. Like, just one more day, I can make it, I can do it. And like, the thing about it is, like, the will to do it is what keeps you doing. And you know, like, the passion and the fact that I'm like, this is all I know how to do. I mean, I can do some other stuff too. I got my degree and stuff, but but I'm like, this is all I want to do is sing. You know, this is what I feel like I am on this planet for. So I don't even want to attempt to do anything else. But I feel like that, yeah, that focus and that endurance is ultimately like what has brought me to this place. So I'm
yeah,
grateful.
that's gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so from origin, I'm Alive. Let's talk about I'm Alive and how that was featured on the St. Heron project. How did
Yeah.
that happen, and and kind of what did that allow, or how did that help your movement, if you will, if you think back on it?
Yeah, I love this story because I was at a Solange concert. What is the venue? Somewhere on the east side of Atlanta. But she's really cool friends with Janelle Monáe. And after the concert, everybody went back to Janelle's house. And, I'm trying to be cool and like act like, oh, I'm not, not really fazed by the fact that Solange is like sitting to the left of me. But she was kind of giving me some eye contact. And I was like, is she looking at me? What's happening? And she came up to me and she was like, I heard your song on Concrete Loop. Shout out to concreteloop.com. Back from that
Concrete
concert.
Loop, yeah.
And she was like, I'm coming out with a compilation of like up and coming artists, and I would really love to have you on my compilation. And it took the wind out of me, like, oh my gosh. So, and I remember not hearing from, like, it was crazy because she never got my number or anything like that. And then, like, randomly her management had reached out, and months later they ended up using the song. So that was great. And it was just amazing to be affiliated with all the artists that were on the compilation. And
Yeah.
then, it was sold in like Urban Outfitters across America, which was sick. And actually, I made a lot of fans from that project. I have a lot of friends who were like, I found you from the Saint Heron compilation. So shout out to
Wow.
Solange for that.
Yeah, that's what's up. I like hearing these stories. I don't necessarily get to hear them all, but I'm glad. I feel special because I heard it direct.
Yeah.
Um, so I first remember hearing you and James Fauntleroy on the Origin Project, um, and I remember being like, "Dang, this All I Have record is jamming." And I had been hearing about James from the Cocaine 80s projects and stuff like that. But hearing your voices together, it really made sense.
Yeah.
Um, so I wanted to ask you about collaboration in general, but I wanted to focus on certain pieces of that collaboration puzzle altogether, because I feel like you've collaborated with some very, very top-notch people, and I can only imagine, you were already dope
Wait till you
before,
hear
but
this next single. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm like, oh shit, she got Michael Jackson on the mother. No, but
He is my label mate now.
listen, true story. So tell me about James. He seems like a cool guy, mysterious. I can imagine you all in the studio, kind of carving up. What's that chemistry like? What's that been like?
Yeah, I mean, he's a musical genius. I can't describe him in any other words. It's almost kind of tough to write with a person like him because he's so good and he has all the ideas. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna go in the booth and just make the song in 5 minutes, and it's all gonna make sense. Like, it's not just like, let me do a few melody scans. It's like the melody, the words, the concept, the harmonies somehow at the same time. No, everything, everything is coming out together. So yeah, I was just in awe in that process, and we have a lot of the same influences across the board. And so I think that's why it was a good collaboration. Our voices sound good together. We have the same references and kind of like to do the same types of things. So yeah, that project made sense.
Does iron sharpen iron in that situation?
I don't know how much iron I was bringing to the table at that point, but I was just grateful to be in the room with him. I don't know. Hopefully, I inspired him in some way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, t- let's go into Outer Limits then. Talk about that as a project, and his involvement in that, and what the goal of that project was as well.
Mm-hmm. I think the goal was just to do something together. We had talked about it for years, and then at one point he was like, "What are you doing? Come out to LA." Came out to LA, and it was literally one of those things where you just lock in and make songs that you like, and that's the project. I've never been one to like make 100 songs and be like, let me try to find 10 from these. Maybe one day I think I would love for my output to be that crazy where I can do that. But it was just like, let's choose sounds that we like and write the song until it's the song that we want, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's pretty much how that project came about. Floating Away, I think, was actually two songs from the project. Floating Away and Stay Classy San Diego were songs that he had already done. And he was like,
Okay.
I really think this should be on the project. And I think the intention was just to do something really creative and outside of the box, different, hence outer limits, you know.
Yeah. Nice, 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 nice. Well, let's talk about out of the box a little bit, because I know in the box is where a lot of those who are on the suit wearing side of the industry preferred for artists to exist. But um, I know that you've always been one to experiment, challenge notions of what is soulful or what can be whatever, you know what I mean? Just in terms of your incorporation of guitars and being willing to go more into that alternative space before
Yeah.
there was a alternative R&B
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're always looking to call something something.
Right.
But I wanted to ask you about experimentation in sound, as it relates to you.
Yeah.
You were just speaking about, well, the songs, the sound, a lot of people, I don't necessarily allow sound to play as much of a role in choosing which nuances they want to go. But then at the same time, I've heard records of yours that are, you're going into a bag that people are like, oh, wow, I didn't know she had this bag she could go into. There are all these little jewels in this bag, so not every artist is willing to push the boundaries, as it were. So I wanted to ask you how much experimentation plays into the creative process for you.
I think I just like what I like, and I really like guitars, and I really like crazy bass lines, and I really like just like a piano ballad. You know, like I like instruments, and those are the sounds that move me. You know, I've tried to get in with some producers, and they want to give me the traps. You know, and it's funny because even my mom's like, "You need a club banger," you know. For years, she's still like, "You got to get a club banger," but I mean, you know, I don't even know if I consider it being experimental. It's just music, and it's just the way that I like to write. That's what inspires me to write, you know, is
Yeah,
just building from scratch with instruments, with people who play.
love it. Would you say you've stuck to your guns as it relates to that?
Yeah, because it's what I know and it's what I love. But I think that more so maybe on this forthcoming project, I have experimented in a way where I'm getting outside of that comfort zone, you know, of
Yeah,
doing what I know and love and kind of being like, let me stretch myself a little bit. And so this project might be maybe on the other side. I'm trying to avoid saying the word urban at all costs. I feel like urban is like problematic to say now.
yeah, right.
But I guess more radio. I don't know. All those words are
I
corny.
understand. I love how transparent you can be about that, Um, I'm just wondering, like, for everything that's gone on in the last couple of months, as it relates to the reconciliation process that we were talking about. I don't hear as much talk about the reconciliation process um, as I did a couple months ago, and that was my criticism of those who were leading the charge. It was okay. What are y'all gonna do 30 days after this? Is there gonna be
Right.
something new that happened? Because I haven't heard pretty much anything. But it takes a lot to be able to stick to what you know is going to produce the best results out of you as an artist. I've listened to everything you have, unless I mean, that's available for consumption.
Yeah, did you go
Um,
on SoundCloud? No, I'm just kidding.
and there you don't make there are certain artists that I just am like, you can listen to them on anything and it's gonna be right. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
I I like artists like that. I prefer to listen to artists like that. I don't really like skipping around from song to song. So when I hear projects of yours, I do hear a continuity, and I hear the effort that's made into each song as its own piece of music, which I think is important as well. But um, let's talk about Anderson .Paak. Man,
That's a great segue.
I watched uh, I watched the NPR performance, and
Oh Lord, let's not talk about that.
but
No.
listen though, listen to me, feel me for a second.
Okay,
So
I'm feeling you
I'm watching
here.
the NPR performance, and it's like I see, you know, the whole crew, and I see you, right? And I have some pre-existing knowledge, so I'm looking at it as a forest for the trees thing, and then I'm looking at your tree, and
Okay.
I see them coexisting in a very cool way. There's
Okay.
that fire that you know you were able to add, which I felt like was a nice adornment on the situation. So, what was it like? The touring element. It seems like it was a blast. What type of regimen was it involved, and just give us some insight on that.
Singing and tequila. That was the only regimen.
Yes,
And jam sessions after the show.
yes.
That was the whole regimen. There I couldn't have been able to be attached to like a better group of people, like just for my personality, musically, what I love, and just the whole energy of it from the first show, which was Coachella, to like the whole year of touring up until Tiny Desk. I mean, they're my brothers, and we had fun. I think I really learned more than anything to just like loosen up and have fun and be on stage and move my body and dance more. And yeah, it was light. It was lighter than probably anything else I've done. Um, and it's funny because the Tiny Desk thing was just a pit stop on the tour. So I had no idea we were doing that, and I had no idea they were going to involve me. It was just like we got the schedule, and it was like Tiny Desk on this particular day. I'm like, what the fuck? We're doing Tiny Desk. Then I'm like, okay, so I'll just do my one song, that I do with them, and then no, they were like, I need you to do 3 songs. So yeah, it was nerve
Yes.
wracking. It was nerve wracking, the whole experience. But as you could probably tell, I was very excited and just smiling like the freaking Kool-Aid man in my red outfit. But
Yes.
yeah,
Is
I
there a
mean,
big audience in there? Or
so I think it varies, but yes, we did. We probably had 100 people in there.
oh wow.
Because I guess people can like come or go or but yeah, I guess based on what they had said too,
Mhm.
it was bigger than the crowd they had when they first did it. So,
Nice.
and it's interesting because you can't hear yourself. Like
Oh shoot.
it's just like you're standing in a room singing. It's
Okay.
not like the mic. There's no speakers, there's no monitors or anything like that. So you're standing in a room just singing for 100 people, and you're trying not to be too loud. It's just it's interesting, but
Oh wow.
yeah.
Yes. That's what's that? Sweet tea? Is that Arnold Palmer? What's that?
This is a
Schnapps?
little watermelon spritzer, non-alcoholic.
Gotcha.
Trader Joe's. Holla.
Yeah. I need to get on the Trader Joe's bandwagon. I haven't explored
What are
Trader
you
Joe's
doing? Wait,
enough.
just tell me. Okay, are you just doing Whole Foods or what?
No, I do.
Publix? No.
Yeah. Don't hate on Publix. Dang, I thought I was middle class. No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean Whole Foods, I spent a whole check on that. I gotta make it stretch a little longer than
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Yes, yes. So let's talk about um Cali Love
Yeah.
and Not Too Deep,
Okay.
featuring Black. Um, these
I'm so happy
two
you didn't say Slack. Thank you.
oh God, no, never.
Okay.
That's something my dad would say. I'm
You'd
like,
be
Dad,
surprised.
no, Dad, never mind, Dad.
Right.
But in these releases, we've been able to see, the fruits of your relationship with D-Mile. And I know you already had a familiarity and knew him before these releases. But obviously it's giving people out there some sort of indication of what we can expect from your next body of work. So I wanted to ask you about what that's been like working on your most recent material, and if there are any sonic expectations we can have, what would they be?
It was certainly a dream come true to get in the room with D. I just love everything he does. I love the way he approaches. D, I hope you're still in here because I'm talking good about you. No, I send him random texts like, I love you. He's just a great person outside of being the craziest producer. But I feel like he is my Quincy, my Rodney, my LaShawn Daniels. Like, he does it all. He plays, he arranges, background vocals, everything. And I think just to be able to be in a room with someone who, can hop on guitar, bass, keys, drums, pull out a horn, like, what else do you need, So I guess you can expect that, you can expect the color of all of those sounds. And if you've heard Lucky Day or Victoria Monet's latest project, they just have that cohesiveness, and you know what I mean, like they're solid bodies because of his ability to just do it all.
Okay. Well, let me ask you about some subject material then, because
Okay.
I see a little small, tiny little line, maybe a little thread. I'm
Okay.
always into reading into things, so I'm like, Cali Love, okay.
Okay.
And then I'm like, not too deep. Hmm, hmm.
Oh yeah, no, okay.
So
Getting at.
now I'm not gonna necessarily state the obvious. Don't try to. I'm still trying to throw you a curve, but um, I wanted to ask you about um, the nature of the subject material, because I think some excerpts that it's more, I don't want to say transparent, as if you weren't being, but reflective of a certain degree of womanhood, and being honest about that in whatever way comes naturally to you. Do I have that right, or what?
Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, the thing about it is it's been 5 years since my last project, which was Outer Limits, which was fun and very much influenced by James, So I feel like you're getting a lot more of me, and you're getting me in 2020 as a woman who was 5 years older than she was then. I won't tell you how, but you know what I mean? Like, and then like we talked about, like growing up in church and all that comes with that, and caring about what my family thinks, like that was always, those were factors in the past. And I guess now I'm more so just in the process, for myself, and not thinking about those things and like what people are going to think. So it is more transparent, and it is a reflection of India as a woman, and maybe like just exploring certain topics that I haven't before, like making the sexy stuff, and I mean talking about what it's like to be grown and be single, and like be trying to navigate these dating waters of Los Angeles.
Yeah. Speaking of, no, I'm playing. I want to. I thought let's go to Not Too Deep specifically, because I felt there's that hooky element of Not Too Deep. The when we get to Wanna Fall, but
Mm-hmm.
not too deep. Let me ask you, in the navigation of these treacherous dating waters, um, is that the way that it's gotta be? Like, I'm curious to know from a woman's perspective how navigating the dating waters while being in the music industry and an active part of the music industry really can be. Is it difficult?
Yeah, it's really hard. I'm like really trying to find my place, and yeah, I mean, it's like the thing about it is you want to be able to um, be in a relationship with a person who understands the nature of our world, and who understands music the way that, and loves music the way that you love it. I'm sure, you know what I mean? And, but I mean, that is less important. It's more so, just being able to accept it and understand, the obligations and, you know, all the stuff that comes along with it. But then like within the world, it's very hard to, to, to be in a healthy relationship because it's such a transient lifestyle and there's so many beautiful people, successful people. And it's just hard, I think, for men in our industry to, no, not just men, but probably all of us, you know.
Yeah. Well, do you feel like what would you say to an aspiring singer who
Somebody said, do you need to be claimed or tamed? Good question.
Hmm. Inquiring minds want to know. Hmm.
I think the taming is in the claiming, you know.
Hey, come on, somebody.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Um,
But anyways, you said advice to aspiring artists.
yeah, if there's an aspiring artist out there, let's say male or female, and that's kind of what they're constantly maybe considering. They have somebody that they were dating, and then they start seeing things kind of move for them in the music capacity. There always tends to be that push and pull. You want to make sure you're still down for the person who was with you before you started, but at the same time, you're watching this dream come into fruition. What advice would you give somebody in that situation? Cut them loose or stick around? Like what?
I mean, I think that's so specific to the people involved. I think that if your person is secure and they're a good partner and they've held you down, why cut them loose? You know.
Yeah.
But I feel like you. The thing about it is, if you're not ready for a relationship, just don't be in a relationship. You know, if you're not ready to, yeah. But I mean, I get it. Like I said, there's so many beautiful people and talented people, and that can be a real temptation, I think, for people who have not decided what they really want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you still single?
I am.
Okay, interesting.
I know, right? There must be something to me that makes women scared or something. I could be an intimidate. Maybe I'm imposing in some type of way. I don't know.
I
It's
don't
the
know.
shirt.
You kind of strike me. You're giving me Playboy vibes.
No. Am
Yeah, yeah. You be speaking French and playing guitar and stuff.
I can't even get them over here because of that. You know what? This is the thing that works against me. All those things work against me because people assume, he's probably got a DM. You know, his inbox is full of DMs or whatever the case may be. But it's like if everybody thinks that, you're on the short end of the totem pole all the time. So you know, hey, it is what it is. I'm uh I'm leading a dry a sober lifestyle in many ways. Let's
Okay,
just say that, and
listen.
I'm just going to accept what it is for what it is. I know you and I have spoken about writing for other artists in the past, and I've spoken with other amazing songwriters as well who also have an identity as an artist. What is the push and pull for an artist who's also equipped at writing great songs when it comes to having the opportunity to establish yourself industry wise as a songwriter, but still having artistic aspirations?
Hmm. I think it's just the way that I think it's what's most important to you, the way that you see yourself, and then the way that you move in the industry. Because I think that even though I was doing the writing stint, I always made it known when I walked in a room that I was an artist. And if I like the song and if this might be mine, you know what I mean? And that kind of posed a bit of a conflict when I was in a writing team, you know, because we were writing for placements and it was like, okay, India, you can't just because you sound good on this doesn't mean that this is going to be one of your songs. So, but yeah, I think it's a personal decision, and then just the way that you represent yourself in that space.
For sure. For sure. Shout out to all the crew that's just popping up in here. Josh Bias. I saw Bueno up in this jump.
Yay!
Uh,
Other people's
Gangs all
Xenia.
here. My homie Firas tuning in from Paris. What's up, y'all?
But yeah, I think it's whatever you do the most. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
if you running around the city doing writing sessions all the time, then you're a writer. You know what I mean? If you are doing shows, then you know. And I think for me, the artist thing has always been the focus,
yeah.
the primary focus. I actually really don't have much of a desire to write for other people. Yeah, I'll take a placement, but
Right. No, I
you know,
love it.
I'm not just like on the placement chase, and like I'm not really in that mindset at all.
That's good. I think there's a season maybe for it, but like you got to start giving pieces of yourself away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know, it's a weird experience. I think at the time when we spoke about it, I hadn't had an experience like that too tough where there was anything that I was kind of even attached to that someone else ended up having. But I can see the way it is, or the way it can be or whatever. But it becomes a challenge because you start getting in that rat race of the placement rat race, and you can
Right.
totally lose yourself or whatever. So I
It's
like the
like
way that you're.
someone in here mentioned a song called Build. They said, I want to hear your version of Build. That was a song that I did with Leon Thomas. And the session, it was like, let's write you something. And like went to the studio and started this song. And then like a week later, it was like, Justine Skye wants the song. I'm like, but it's not, um,
Dang.
right. But it probably was a better fit for her anyways. But that was just, one of those examples.
Yeah. Happens like that. So let's I know we're running out of a little bit of time, but I wanted to find out, what's next. I know the pandemic has forced people to rethink a couple of things. You've been active. You've had some releases already in 2020. Should we expect more in 2020? If oh, okay, can we get a little bit of tea or juice or
I'm gonna give y'all
schnapps?
all the tea because this is an intimate crowd,
Gotcha.
and I feel like I can trust you guys. And I'm really excited, and I'm bad at keeping secrets. And yeah. So next week, I have a single called Moving On featuring Anderson .Paak coming out with a video.
Yes.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. It's huge.
Wow, that's what's up.
I feel like this might. I don't know. I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna let it be. But I'm really
Yes,
excited about it.
that's what's up. I'm excited to hear it. I mean, people are out like, all the hearts came up and everything like that, so I already know. So next Friday
Is that
or
the 28th? Yeah.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
and video?
And video.
Love
Crazy
it.
video.
Love it. Oh, I love it. I love your visuals too. They're always dope.
Thank you. I feel
Yeah.
like this one is this video stylistically, just everything about it. This is finally tapped into something.
That's
Yeah.
what's up. That's what's up. When you tapped in, like, it's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Especially if you've ever been tapped out. I mean, there are times when I've been
Ah!
tapped out and times when I'm tapped in and I know the difference.
Cam, I feel like so much of my career, my journey has been just trying to make things work and doing what I could with what I had, which was always very little. So this is the first time I feel like, yes, like we had a professional production team and we had all the people that we need. Like, it's right. And it feels good for something to be right and intentional and like really executed the way that you intended to execute it. So,
Amen.
I'm
That's
happy.
what's up. Well, shoot. I feel like I've accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish. I'm so excited. We've had some technical difficulties. Your phone overheated. You
It
know
did.
what I'm saying?
Thank you for everybody who stuck around and said nice things and put heart emojis. You guys are the best. And Cam, what's going on with you? We got to catch up. I know
We
we
do.
have a few minutes left, but
I keep my stuff on the low, but I got some stuff.
serious.
It's an offline discussion for now, but I'm like, you know me, I'm always working, so it's been
Always. Probably
it's
got 2 million songs in
listen.
quarantine.
Right, all the quarantine jams. But no, in all seriousness, I'm stuttering and shit. I appreciate you for rocking with me. I'm so proud of you. I've always loved everything that you've done. I don't say that just to gas you because we're on live or whatever, but um, always love everything you've done. I already know next Friday is going to be monumental. So I'm super excited for that. And let's keep the conversation going. I'm a virtual dude. So I'm the pandemic hasn't really affected me too tough in terms of work because I've always been working at home. So I say all that to say, um, you know,
Listen, I got to finish this album out. So, yeah.
yeah. Listen,
Maybe so.
I will, definitely, for sure. Thank you again for rocking with me. Great to see you. You look great. You look
Thank
like you're staying safe. You're inside. At least you're not out
you.
on Venice Beach or something with no mask, just rocking it. So,
I'm at the crib. Hey, Pierre Mador. He's just
oh
allowed it.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I'll actually be out there in September. So we'll
yes,
see. We'll see what the nature of things is. Maybe we could link up.
yes, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. Thank you again. Great seeing you. We'll be talking soon. I'll hit you up. Don't be Hollywood after next
Oh
Friday.
my God, I know. I might be a whole new girl. All right, take care. Thank you so
All
much
right,
for having me.
no problem. See.
Bye.